Hello, I am Crystal Sanford Brown, Vice President of the NAUIC Governing Board. And through the creativity of Michigan AAYC, we're bringing to you a keynote that was to be delivered in person, but through technology, we're able to bring it to you through a virtual format. So I'm very thankful that I'm able to share this information. Um, Again, just in a different format, but it's still going to be just as valuable, I hope. Before we get started, as I think about um, everything that has gone on over the last 2 months and the selfless acts of the early childhood educators and all who are first responders, I just want to give a moment of silence and thanks for all that they are doing, that their families have put up um, a sacrifice for them to do their job, and those programs that have continued to stay open in the midst of what we're going through. And there is no judgment for the ones that closed. I just want to thank you. And again, just 2 seconds of silence. Thank you. Okay, so today we bring to you, by way of NACCE, Advancing Equity in Early Childhood Education. And what I'm going to do is to share how this um, newest position statement came about and what was the pretense behind it. What was it that the organization saw and it noticed that there was a need to make sure that a position statement, as strong as it is, um, was there and available for all who are involved in early childhood. So I want to read this for you. Um, as we take this journey to this great place, I want to read this by Palma Parker. It says, "We can make choices about what we are going to project. And with those choices, we help grow the world that is. Consciousness precedes being. Consciousness, yours and mine, can form or reform our world. Our complicity our complicity in world making is a source of awesome and sometimes painful responsibility and a source of profound hope for change. It is the ground of our common call to leadership, the truth that makes leaders of all of us." So we need to uphold fundamental principles in fairness and justice. And as I think about my own personal experience, I want to share an incident that I will never forget. When I was an in-home provider, and this goes back to the early 90s, this was in 1994, actually 1996. I started providing care for this child in 1994, but this incident occurred in 1996. I had a child in my program who came to me. She was 2 years of age, and I can recall how excited her mom was in meeting me during their registration. And she was excited that I had an opening. She was excited that her child was going to be able to come to me full time. And um, the the child, I'll call her by Connie to protect privacy. Connie really enjoyed the program. At that time, I was a group provider, and Connie would come day after day talking about things that we did the previous day. So she was really doing well in scaffolding her knowledge, and she did well with playing with the children. But I want to say maybe into the second year, I started noticing some changes in her behavior. At nap time, she would rub her genital area on the side of the cots, and she would fall asleep after a period of time of doing that. And I observed that. And it wasn't just one occurrence, it was several times. And so I mentioned it to her mom, and her mom, it at that time, and you have to understand, I hadn't had the degrees. I um, was still working in getting some foundational knowledge in early childhood. I had come from a pharmaceutical background, so a lot of this was new to me, and I did not know that some of that was normal. Um, and so I mentioned it to the mom. It didn't seem to bother her. So a couple of more weeks went on. Then I noticed that Connie wanted to sleep with a doll. And at that time, I observed her putting a dowel under her bottom area, and she would um, move in stimulation as if she were there were some sexual moves in there, as if she was doing something that she had observed. So once again, I came to mom. I talked to mom about my concern, and this time, mom said, um, "I don't know what you expect me to do. I got pregnant at 14. Um, I'm 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 going to be 19. I didn't even know what happened to me. I'm just pregnant. I didn't want to have a child. I have to work. She stays with my mom on the weekends. And if I want to go to a movie, I take her with me because I don't have anybody to provide care for her." And Connie came to me Monday through Friday. And on Saturdays, her mom also had a part-time job at Olin Mills or something of that sort. So when she didn't work, she would take her. And I remember Connie saying to me, "Miss Chris, I want to kiss a woman. I want to kiss a woman in the mouth." And not presenting a shockness or anything of that sort, I said, "Oh, are you talking about kissing your mom or your grandmother?" She says, "No, I want to kiss a lady in the mouth." And so again, sharing some concerns with her mom said, "Oh, I took her to go see the movie Set It Off." And Set It Off came out in 96. And I too saw the movie, not in judgment. I didn't take my children. It was an R-rated movie. And the character Queen Latifah plays in there is Cleopatra, but they call her Cleo. And Cleo plays a lesbian in the movie. And in the movie, she is affectionate with her partner. She kisses her partner. And this 4-year-old saw that, and not knowing what to think, she processed it through her head and, brought it to me. And again, I didn't have that foundational knowledge. I became frightened for her because the mom said to me on the weekends when she's with the grandmother, the mom's brother lived in the lower level and he has his girlfriend over. There's not a door that closes to the lower level from upstairs. And on several occasions, Connie observed her uncle being intimate with his partner. She's 4. She doesn't know what to do with this knowledge. She doesn't know what to do with what she's seen. So, me not knowing how to handle it and not looking at my own biases, I contact Child Protective Services. And I tell the mom, for the greater good of the other children in my care, I can no longer provide care for Connie because I'm asking you to put her in safe environments. Mom also shared with me that sometimes she watches porn, and Connie comes out of her room when she's there with friends and they're watching porn and she's viewed that. I didn't know how to handle it. I was not ready to deal with my own shame, secrets that I walked around with years after I had been violated as a child by the very people who should have been praying, Praying, for me. My aunt and uncle, they were praying, Preying, on me. A child violated. And because I wasn't ready to deal with my internal feelings, I didn't know how to handle what Connie was going through. I didn't know how to give Connie's mom the resources that she needed. I did not know how to help. Connie's mother was looking for me to help her, and I didn't know how to do it because I didn't know that I too needed help in handling what I had kept inside of me for so long, that I walked around feeling shamed as a child, as an adult, because someone told me, you can't tell. If you tell, I may hurt your mother. I may hurt your father. And these were my father's siblings. It was a conditioning. So by the time I get married, domestic abuse, I had been conditioned not to tell. By the time that I'm older and I'm violated by other men, I had been conditioning to keep it to myself until 3 years ago. I was presenting, and I just, something in me said, let it out, let it out. And I told that audience, no longer would I walk in shame. No longer would I keep secrets, because secrets keep you sick. And because I did not want to deal with what I was dealing with, I contacted Child Protective Services on this mother that needed some additional other support. I'm not stating that she did not need an intervention, but I don't believe she needed Child Protective Services. She didn't need that case. So I reflect on that. I reflect on upholding fundamental principles of fairness and justice, and making sure that we check ourselves for our biases, and that we make sure that we can give children environments where they can be nurtured, where we can advance the equity in these environments by taking the names off of our pages of attendance and getting to know each one of those children, getting to know their families, getting to know their cultures, getting to know all the intrinsic things about them, so that we don't make judgment because of our own beliefs. Get to know your families.